So if you were looking for answers on what you have to do before you go on a listing appointment, this is the right video for you. I'm going to talk to you about what you have to do to prepare for that and to make sure that you get the listing while you're there. This doesn't talk about the actual documents and the forms that you need or anything like that, but it prepares you for what you must do prior to going to a listing. Okay, so I'm going to try to make this quick. I'm going to run through it fast, but here's what you need to know. Everything that I'm telling you is all you need to know to have success. Okay, look, when you're starting off, you're going to have to do this over and over again to get better and better at it. But after you watch this video, you are prepared to go on a listing appointment. Okay, so don't wait till you're perfect. Go ahead and get started and go get some listings. Okay, so here's the deal. Listings Unleashed. Let's get started. Okay, so first and foremost, confidence comes with preparation. If you guys are going to be confident, you got to be prepared, right? You don't want to show up to an appointment without knowing anything about the property, anything about the value of the property, and things like that. So really, all your confidence is going to come from what you do prior to you going on the listing appointment. When you go on the listing appointment, it's just time to be you and present what you've got and build rapport, and I'll show you how to do all these different things, okay? So number one, confidence comes with preparation. So how do we prepare? So one thing, if you want to add value and show these sellers that you're really on top of your game, what you can do is tell the seller that you're actually going to be stopping by a few days before the listing appointment to take some pictures of the exterior of the property, to go look around the area and just get to know the area. This is going to help you sell the home, and it's going to make you look great to the seller. Like you're not just showing up. You're like, hey, look, I just want to let you know that if you see some crazy person hanging out in front of your house, it's just me. I'll be taking some pictures there on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Before our appointment on Thursday. And I just want to get some pictures, learn the area a bit better, and be prepared. And that's going to show them that you're really on top of your game. But I also want you to take a picture of the exterior front of their home, because we're going to use it to customize your listing presentation. I'm going to go through a listing presentation right after these slides that I'll give you the template to use. You can use this presentation and just put your own pictures and information in it. But here's what you got to know. If you go into the EXP Marketing Center, they have some great tools there. I actually looked at their listing presentation in EXP Enterprise. You all have access to it. Go into your marketing center and look for listing presentations. They have a really exceptional one. It was fantastic. So if you guys want to use that, you guys can customize that, plug your pictures, plug your information in there, or you can use a template of the one that I'm using in this presentation. So take a picture of the exterior of the home and then drive the area, get to know the area. This is all part of the prep. The next thing you want to do is be prepared with your best assessment of the value or a value range. In other words, you got to value the property before you go there. Now, here's the thing. At a listing, oftentimes you haven't seen the interior of the home. So what I would say is you don't come in with a number and just stick to a number until you see the interior of the home. But if you've seen the exterior, if you've done your comps and you understand the neighborhood, you should have a good range of where the property is at. And if you guys need to learn how to comp a property, if you go to jointdp.com/videos, I have a video on how to comp. Go in there and learn how to comp, or you can sit down with your mentor or coach and they can teach you as well. But it's always good to watch that video just so you can start practicing at home, okay? So what I would say is after you do that comp of the property, after you feel like you've got a range of the value, or at least you got a number in your head that you think is a strong number, you're going to want to print out some of those listings. At least I do, the ones that I use to kind of compare their home. And I use that in the presentation in case they want more information. Not everybody needs to see all the detailed information. You'll figure out that some people just want to get started and want to get to the point. Some people want all the details. So come prepared for everything, but don't force anybody into details if they don't want to hear them, right? So I come there with a few of the listings that I printed out that I use to comp the property with me. But in the listing presentation I'm going to show you in a little bit also has a section there for you to outline the comps that you use as well. Okay, so comp the property, be prepared. You're going to go there with a number in your head, but until you see the inside, you're not going to make a final judgment as to what you think the power price is, like what's the right price for this home. Okay. What I say is before you get there, after you're doing the research of the area and the home, I would have in my mind kind of what the buyer profile is. In other words, if I were thinking about where this property is located, what the amenities are around it, you know, what the shopping is like, what the area is like, what the neighborhood's like, I kind of get a buyer profile of who would be the perfect buyer for this, right? That's going to help me a lot to just kind of picture on how to sell this property. And also when you actually put the listing up on the MLS, it's going to help you write that little description about the property because you'll kind of be speaking to that ideal buyer. Okay. And that all comes with the preparation. So one thing I would say, so that's the pregame, right? That's what you're going to do to prep before you go to the property. These are the things that you need to have in mind. Plus obviously the listing presentation I'm about to show you. You'll come there prepared with all that. And when you get there, you should just feel comfortable building that rapport. So I would say this: prepare the best you can, go out and take action. Action gets results, and detach from the outcome and focus on adding massive value. In other words, don't go in there thinking it's a win or a loss thing. Like I either get the listing or don't get the listing. If I get the listing, I'm a winner. If I don't, I'm a loser. That's not how to think about this, especially when you're starting off and you haven't done it a lot, right? What you got to think is, hey, I'm getting a repetition here. I'm getting the practice here. Hey, you know what? I got a really good chance because I'm prepared to get this listing. But if I don't, I know I made progress and I'm going to do it better the next time. Okay. So there's no winning or losing in this. Detach from the outcome, take action. Trust me, it will work for you. Okay. So let's go to the actual listing presentation. So this is a listing presentation. I was playing around and I thought to myself, man, we should come up with like an alliance group presentation. But EXP, once again, has a great one. I like this one as well. It's really personality styles. If you guys done the personality profiling with us, you know that I'm a high I, so I like things to be colorful, fun, more entertaining, that kind of thing. Maybe you have a different style, but this should help you at least get to know what's going to happen there and what you should be presenting. So real quick, we'll go ahead and go through this presentation, right? So this is I created this because I had bought this book that had like a little cutout in the center, and the cutout in the center of the book cover was going to show that the picture of the property. That's why I wanted you to take an exterior photo so you would have something there to customize it. Now, you don't have to get all fancy and bind it if you don't want to, but I was planning on doing that and making something real sharp. It's not a bad idea to do that. Get a nice little binder or folder to put this presentation in. It just makes you look even more professional and maybe in something they can keep and kind of hang on to. But this is very personalized to them. This is the picture of their home, their address, their name. And I go through this and I kind of tell them, your home is my home. I talk to them about the fact that, I'm kind of coming in there and I'm making it my home because I have to take responsibility for that home and help them sell it. So I won't read you all this stuff, but you can read through this. Success is different for everyone. It is my mission to learn your story and understand your goals. Once I understand what success means to you, I will craft a specific strategy to deliver on that success. So that's a little thing that I wrote there. If you guys like it, keep it. If you don't, you don't. You can switch it around or say something different. But I'm trying to show my personality through the presentation because, I do want to make this personal with them. They're working with me, right? So I want to get to let them know what I'm really there to do, and that I'm there to get them the most for their property and achieve their goals. So I start with this. This is a good thing for you guys to understand is you guys have a team, right? So whenever you guys present to somebody, don't just talk about yourself, talk about your team as well, right? So you have this this back end support system that makes you look great. You've got Celebration Title Group, and BB Ortiz is actually the person that takes those files. And so for sellers, this is huge. You've got a trusted title company that makes the experience fantastic. You've got Javier Rivas, and all the guys at Home First Lending. They're going to help you in case you need somebody to pre-qualify a buyer. Maybe a buyer comes in and needs help with lending, or you can kind of frame it as the fact that, hey, if anything ever comes through and I need to ask questions about somebody's financing, here's my team. These are the guys that I call to make sure whoever the buyer is, is definitely qualified to buy your home, because I would never want to, put your property, pending or off the market without knowing that somebody could actually buy it, right? So that's part of your team. And then obviously Marissa. Marissa is the all-star player on our team, right? She, I call her the office mom, right? So she handles the back end. She's going to make sure that if there's anything else you need, if ever a client can't reach you, or there's, anything like that, and you can't reach them, you can always call Marissa. So I like to pick the team because that makes you look even, bigger to them. And you actually bring an entire team to help sell their house. Okay. So this is a little testimonial page. Once again, I won't spend a lot of time on this, but I think that if you can get some testimonials, obviously some of you guys are just getting started, but it's not bad to, maybe get testimonials from people you used to work with and you think you can get a good testimonial, or just put something, something showing your personality or your credibility, anything you want to put in here. That's what the whole point was, is to establish credibility, establish the fact that, people know, like, and trust me, and testimonials are a great way to do that. So if you can get some, get some. If not, do something there that kind of adds credibility to what you're doing, or just leave the page out if you want to, right? So if you're just like, hey, I don't got any testimonials, don't worry about it. Just take the page out, okay? Another part, this is kind of like my bio, the things I believe in and who I am. You should do something like this. At the end of the day, people buy people, not products and services. At the end of the day, it's not about them buying your services, it's them buying you, right? Do they like you? Do they trust you? Are you a real person? Do you have friends? Like, they want to know a little bit about you, because, by the way, selling somebody's house is a very personal process, guys. I mean, you're in somebody's house. They might have lived there 30 years. That might be where they had their, their kids and all these different memories and things. And now you're in charge of selling that property for them. So it's okay to build a personal relationship with that person. You're going to be, hopefully it'll be a quick sale, but if not, you might have a multi-month relationship with these people, right? So do a little testimonial. So let me move out of the way here. So how to make the most on your house. So most people want to know about the money, they want to know how you're going to make them the most money on their house. So this is something that I kind of go through with them. And, I tell them these are the four main factors that are going to help sell your house, right? The kind of the four pillars of what it takes to sell your house. So this is how we make the most on your home. Okay. Number one, the look and the feel, right? Presentation is everything. The way a home looks, smells, and feels can mean thousands when it comes to offers. Following my strategy to get your home ready will make you money. Okay. So this is important. When you go to the house, you're going to want to give them some tips and things that they need to do to make the house look great for the listing. If not, you're going to have a tough time selling it, right? So if it's very, if you're dealing with a hoarder, they need to clear all that stuff out. If the home smells like cigarettes or dog or whatever, tell them, we should deep clean this house, make sure that it smells fresh, and do all these different things that we got to do, because it's going to affect what people offer them. I'm telling you, if somebody walks in and just smells like, a bad smell or a pet smell, they'll either walk out, or they're just gonna be like, oh, there's stuff up with this property. They'll offer you less just for that, right? So make sure the house looks great. Don't tell them to do like major repairs if they don't have to. I'm just saying there's stuff that you can easily see. Hey, this place looks cluttered. Let's take some of this stuff out of here. Hey, fix a little bit of this wood rot right here in the front door frame, because right when you walk in, you got that chipped paint and that chipped wood. Let's make it look good, so when people walk in, they get that great feel about your property. Always good to also clear some of the personal effects off. So if somebody's got pictures everywhere of their family, hey, let's take some of these pictures down. Let's clean it up so that there's a lot less stuff here, so people can see the house, people can see the walls, people can see the floors, because that's the best way to really sell a house, when they can see themselves in it. Okay. Number two, competition. The more competition there is for your home, the more money you will make. This will depend on my marketing and my pricing strategy. So this is me talking to them. So here's the deal. This is where I start dropping the seed of the fact that the idea of pricing your house properly is to get competition. That's how you drive a price up. If there's no competition for a home, the price drops, right? It's like that in every aspect of life. If there's no competition, the price drops, right? There's no demand, the price drops. So my job is not to price this the highest. My job is to price it in a way that gets people to come see it, to get people to compete for it. Okay. So that's important. I'm dropping that right now. Number three is access, right? Getting into the home. So making your home easily accessible to real estate agent/buyers is one of the most important selling tools. We must do everything in our power to allow buyers to see the home when they want to see it. What does that mean? Is your best case scenario is that home is vacant and that you can put it on a lockbox. Okay. That means that people can see it anytime. They don't have to worry about, making sure that the owners are out of there and things like that. So do everything you can to set up a situation where you can either get the house vacant, or if not, you can put a lockbox on it and then just give the owners some warning, or the tenants warning, prior to somebody seeing it. So in other words, hey, I want to be able to show people when they want to see it, because if somebody takes off of work and they want to see the home that day and they can't see it, they probably won't come back and see it. So I want them to be able to go see it. So if I can just text you 2 hours before there's a showing, at least minimum 2 hours showing, then I can give you a heads up. And if you need to get out of the house, or you need to clean some stuff up, you have that. But I want them to be able to go to the property and go see it. Okay. So ideally you'd want a tenant or the owner to be out of the property when somebody's looking at it. Okay. Which is not a big deal. Owners do it all the time. Like they just go out for a drive and let people come see the property so they don't feel weird when an owner is in there or a tenant is in there. Okay. So your best case scenario, vacant on combo lockbox, try to get the closest you can to that. Okay. The last thing you want to do is try to get a listing that's appointment only where you have to be there on every showing. That's like the worst case scenario. Okay. So always try to negotiate for that. And then finally, me, right? You like when you're talking to the seller, it's like, here's the four things that are going to help sell this property: the look and the feel, creating competition, making sure we have access to this property, and then me. Okay. My job is to present your home properly and market it to the right buyers. In addition, I follow up with all buyers, negotiate the best price for you, and protect you through the process from contract to close. Okay. You gotta start establishing your value. You're not just there to slap something up on the MLS. You gotta understand this is a way more complicated process than that. This involves a lot of people, a lot of processes, and I'm here to guide you through this journey. Okay. So I start talking to them about the most common money losers. So let me talk to you about, I just talked to you about the things that can make you money. Let me talk to you about the most common money losers. Number one, bad pricing strategy. A thorough market analysis is required to put together a pricing strategy which creates attention and inspires competition. The wrong price can cost you thousands. Okay. So let's move this up here. So here's where I drop the seat again. Okay. Here's where I drop the seat again. Competition is what we're looking for, okay? Not just slapping a price up there for the heck of it, okay? So these are the things that will lose you money. You think that pricing it high will make you money? No, it will lose you money. Trust and believe that. And we'll talk more about that, okay? So number two, poor presentation. Clutter in the home, outgrown grass, funky smells, and items that visibly need repair can lower offers drastically. That said, not all things are worth fixing. I will let you know what will make you the most money. In other words, I'm not going to tell them to redo, spend $10,000 on a kitchen remodel when all they're going to do is get $10,000 more, or they're not going to make any money on that, or they probably don't even have 10 grand to do it. But a little paint here, cleaning up the place, decluttering, getting the grass cut. These are all things that it can actually make you a lot of money because the house shows so much better. It looks kept. So that's important. The third common money loser is quirks, right? So I've experienced this multiple times now, and I felt like I had to put it in here. So what do I mean by quirks? Quirks are those things about a house that you can't change that are weird, right? So like a weird layout. I've had a couple properties with spiral staircases. Spiral staircases are tough. A lot of people don't like walking up spiral staircases. That's a quirk. A weird kitchen. Like I saw one the other day. I went in there and the kitchen's like right in the middle. It's all enclosed and there's like a living room on either side of this kitchen. It's weird. It's just a tough layout. So these are quirks, right? So you have to adjust for that. Okay. So quirks are things about your home that might be out of the norm, often things we can't change. It is important that we factor these things into our pricing strategy or your home will sit on the market. Okay, so in other words, hey, if you've got a quirk, you should know. Now, look, this kind of takes some experience, but you'll start to see it sometimes because you'll get a listing one time that has a quirk and it'll be tough. Okay, so I'm over here educating the seller, making sure that they understand that if they don't have any quirks in their house, fantastic. It's a traditional, beautiful home. It's great. Then you're lucky. Okay. Finally, a terrible agent. A terrible agent will lose you money. Okay. A great agent will make you money and a terrible agent will cost you money. I look at listings every day that I know will cost sellers anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000. Okay. And that's true. How many times have you looked in the ML, terrible pictures, hopefully it's not you, but you've seen terrible pictures, terrible descriptions, just presented terribly, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, I know why this house has been on the market for 200 days. Like it's because and you know what, that home might be okay in person. You might be like, wow, that's not as bad as it looks, right? But that's what a bad agent will do. You're a great agent, so you're there to make them money. It's not about you're taking money out of their pocket. You're making sure they make the most money. Okay. So let's discuss these the four things that'll make you money individually. Okay, so let's discuss the look and the feel, because it's really important. Okay, so number one, you taught them was like, these are the three main things for the look and feel. Declutter, put away or getting rid of items that obstruct the beauty of the home. Visible fixes, things like grass cutting, fixing ceiling stains, visible wood rot, paint, and other minor repairs. These are visible fixes. These are things that people look at and say, oh, if this is messed up, then maybe the rest is messed up, right? And then finally, clean and freshen. It is important to deep clean the home and make sure it smells fresh, okay? So the home might be fine. There might be no pet smells. There might be no cigarette smells, but it's always good to freshen up, put some air fresheners, tell them to go get it clean, maybe even recommend them a cleaning company, build a relationship with a cleaning company. Say, hey, look, I can get you a discount on a cleaning, and have a person come in there and clean that house for you, okay? So first impressions are everything. That's why I put that on the bottom left, and that's what you'll talk to them about, first impressions. This is how people make decisions, okay? So competition, not crickets, okay? So competitive pricing, okay? And creating competition. So these are three things that I'm going to do to help you, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, create competition. Number one is power pricing, right? I'm going to make sure that I price this to get the most attention. The wrong price will cause your home to sit on the market. This is what people don't understand. People think that you price it, somebody offers you down here and you somehow meet in the middle. No, because here's what happens. If your property is overpriced, right, then the entire market that actually can afford your price here will never see it, because they didn't put, their search is up to here. They're not going to see any properties above what they can afford. So guess what? They never saw your home. So you're overpriced. And by the way, most people that are looking at it are realtors. They know you're overpriced. So maybe they don't make an offer. Maybe they don't go see it. Maybe they think you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? For pricing it $50,000 above what the rest of the market, or $20,000, or even $10,000. Okay. So what happens? Your home sits on the market, and what do you start doing? Okay. Every day you leave it on the market, you lose leverage, right? You start looking like there's something wrong with your home. So you start dropping the price. And now finally you get to the point where it should have been at the beginning. But guess what? These people have already found the house, right? And now you've been on the market for so darn long. Everybody thinks there's something wrong. So guess what? They're going to offer you something down here. Okay. So guess what? Overpricing is really easy to do, but it's really hard to underprice your home. Because Mr. or Mrs. Seller, if I underprice your home, what should be the result, right? What would be the result if I priced this at just a spectacular deal? Well, you should get multiple offers, right? So if that doesn't happen, that means that we're not underpriced, right? Or if it does, it means I priced it just right to get that much competition. And if I get that competition, they will bid the price up oftentimes. That's why you see a lot of times on the MLS where you're like, oh, they got more than what before. That means they priced it right and they got people to compete. That's what that means. So power pricing. Number two is the go live system. We teach you guys to put when you go to officially put it on the MLS, you put it on the MLS, let's say on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and you delay all showings to the first open house on the Saturday, right? So you give this, the demand starts to build up over those 2 days and everybody's really wanting to see it, but you're saying first showing open house on Saturday from 12 to 4. And guess what? You get a rush of people at that first open house. And guess what? What does that cause? That causes competition. You hear people in another room saying, this is going to go fast. And another person's like, we better put an offer in now, right? So this is what we do. We do something called the go live system, and you can explain that system to them and how you create competition. And then finally, multiple offers. Massive attention can lead to multiple offers, which will allow me to drive up the price of the offer. So what does that mean? That means if we price it right and we get multiple people putting offers in, then I'm going to go to one of the offers and say, give me your highest and best offer. And then I'm going to go to the next person and say, give me your highest and best offer. And guess what? Once they get it up here, I'm going to talk to the person again. Hey, they came up. Do you want to give another highest and best? And you can go back and forth and kind of drive the price up from there. So that's why you want competition in pricing. The last thing you want to do is overprice this thing, okay? Because nobody will come see it and your listing will go stale. Trust and believe. I've tried it the wrong way. You don't want to be that. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to, if you let you overprice it, you're going to have that listing for 6 months. It won't sell. And guess who they're going to blame? They're going to blame you. And then they're going to go find another agent. They're going to drop the price. And then that agent's going to get your commission. Okay. So try to stand firm on the power price. Okay. You come in there with a price, stand firm on that, because that's what's going to dictate whether you sell this home or not. Okay. Access. Let's talk about access. So here's a couple things. So these are all things I was talking about before. I reiterate them to them again. You kind of need to repeat sometimes to emphasize the importance of things. And this is good for you guys because it's good repetition. Access. So lockbox access is what you want, right? You want to be able to let other agents go in there and see the property whenever they want. A lockbox will allow other licensed agents to show buyers the property at their convenience. The second one is a vacant home. Would love to get a vacant home if I can. So if they have the opportunity to move out first, I will tell them to do so. If they have a tenant in there and they tell you, oh, the tenant's lease is up in about a month, let's get it listed now. I'd say, no, let's wait a month. Let's get the tenant out. Let's clean this place up, get their crap out, and then let's put it on the market. Now, obviously, if they want to sell that home with a tenant in it and there's still 8 months left on the lease, you can't do that, right? You still have to list it now, but you have to account for the fact that there's a tenant in there, okay? And whoever's going to buy it most likely will be an investor or somebody who can wait 8 months to move in. So you're going to have to adjust your price based on that, okay? But I'm getting a little off track there. Main thing is if you can get a vacant home, get a vacant home. Those sell for more money and they sell faster. And then finally, flexibility. Being flexible with showing times will help us get the most showings and the most offers. So this is, once again, I'm kind of reminding them again that I need to be able to show this when we want to show it. You know, these people, nope, I only want to show it at, you know, from 2 to 4 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Well, good luck selling this house, you know, because people want to see a property when they want to see it. Okay. So I can't stress this enough. We got to be flexible with that. You know, if you can't get a vacant home, ask them if you can text them a few hours before. Every time somebody's, you know, you'll put in the showing instructions in the listing to have those agents give you a heads up. So they can't just go to the property, though. The instructions will say contact agent before showing. They'll say, hey, I want to look at the property at 4 p.m. today. And you just text your seller and say, hey, just want to let you know there's a showing at 4 p.m. And that's it. And, you know, they can get out of the house. They can go see the property. Okay. So that is access. And then once again, back to you, the agent, me, making your home my home. So protecting you. My job is to protect you in the process, to protect your home, right? So your job is to make sure you protect them, not only protect their home, right? And make sure their home is safe, but protect them when the contract comes in and make sure that the contract is solid and there's nothing in there that exposes your seller. You're there to protect them through the contract process, through the negotiation process, and all of it. Marketing for you. Marketing campaigns, MLS distribution, social media, open houses, and more. So these are all things you can do for marketing, right? So you can create specific marketing campaigns. That could be mailers in the neighborhood, MLS distribution, obviously. And by the way, the MLS is not something everybody knows how to do well just because you have access to the MLS. Because people are like, oh, you're just going to put it on the MLS. I'm like, you know what? A lot of people have the MLS and have no clue how to use it. Right? They don't know what to do to make their property show well on the MLS and make sure that they get the most showings and the most attention to the property. So just because you have MLS doesn't mean you're somehow everything's solved for you. Okay. So social media campaigns, all that stuff, you can tell them. I mean, everybody's going to do a little bit something different, but everybody can do a social media campaign. Social media campaign could just be blasting it on Facebook once, right? And then finally, negotiations. My job is to build as much leverage on our side so as to negotiate for the best offer with the best protection for you. So, you know, not only am I there to make sure you're protected in the offer, not, you know, I'm going to market to get buyers, but you know what? I'm going to negotiate for you. I'm on your side. I'm going to negotiate for you and make sure that we get you the best offer. That's what you're there to do. Okay. So here is the selling journey. I'll run through this quick. Okay. So number one is prepare the home. So basically I'm taking you through a timeline that you can go with the seller so they can see the process. This is for twofold. One, so you guys can see what the process is, especially the new folks, but also so you can really let the seller know how valuable you are. And this is not just to slap the MLS, somebody buys it cash the next day and we're done. There's a lot of stuff that goes into selling a home. Okay, so number one is prepare the home, clean, cut the grass, repairs, and declutter. That's really on them. You've already told them to do all that stuff. Number two is photography. Now, you can do that. You can take photos with your phone. If a property is, $250,000 or below, you guys got some pretty good cameras on your phones. As long as you're good at taking pictures, I think that you can get away with that. But if not, I would say go ahead and spend $150 or $100 to get a photographer out there to get you some really nice photos. It makes you look really good and professional. And then coming soon campaign. So you're going to market your property prior to officially listing to build a buzz for your property. So, you're going to do all sorts of stuff. That could be a simple email to all the agents in our office saying that you've got a property coming up. Now we have an EXP coming soon private Facebook group where you can drop that property in there. And you can just kind of talk to some people, your realtor contacts about the coming soon campaign. Now they changed the rules on us. You can't publicly market something unless you have it officially on the MLS, or they'll make you put it officially on the MLS. And this is like kind of a coming soon campaign, because I love to market properties when they're off market. There's a lot of power to that. So just find a way to do it and not do it publicly so that you get in trouble for it, or they make you put it on the MLS. You're going to give them MLS and digital distribution. So properly launching your home on the MLS and 200 other websites, including Zillow and Trulia. So that's going to happen automatically once you put it into the MLS, but just want to let them know, hey, it's going to be on Zillow, Trulia, about 200 other sites, but obviously the MLS is the most powerful site. All professional realtors look, all licensed realtors look to find homes for their buyers, okay? So, and you're going to do it properly on there, right? I told you not everybody knows how to use the MLS properly. And then finally, we're going to do the go live system. I told you, drop the property on the Wednesday or Thursday on the MLS, funnel all your showings to the first open house on the Saturday, and pack the house on that Saturday. That's going to be huge. And then from then on out, you're going to keep doing open houses. Open houses are one of the best ways for you as an agent to get more and more business. It's how I started when I first met Gil. I just was doing open houses. Just made a ton of money by all the clients that I met at the open houses. That's what the open houses are for, but also to show your seller that you're doing the ground game, right? They want to know that you're working. They want to know that you're pushing their property. But what's great about that is the more open houses you do, the more business you get. So you should want to do them. So consistently hosting effective open houses to bring buyers to your home. Contract. So God willing, we get a contract quickly. Reviewing all offers to make sure you are protected and receiving the best price. So same thing. Once again, I'm going to be reviewing that contract, making sure that that's the right price, negotiating for you. That's the next one, going back and forth with buyers and buyers agents to bring you the best offer. Inspections and appraisals. So I'll make sure that all that gets done right. And by the way, sometimes they end up negotiating during the inspection period. So you'll be there to help them negotiate for that. So managing the process of inspections and appraisal, and further negotiating if needed. So all these things could cause a further negotiation. If a buyer finds a problem within the inspection period, then they're going to try to get more money from you. They're going to try to make you fix stuff. And that's another negotiation point that you'll be there to guide them through. And then finally close, making sure all the numbers and the paperwork are correct for a successful closing. And obviously you have Celebration Title Group as your partner to help you through all that. But guess what? It's still a value add that you provide from your team. Okay. And then this is just something I kind of added in when it comes to great relationships. Communication is key. I will communicate with you weekly to give you updates on the process and to discuss showings, feedback, and offers. Guys, this is one of the best ways to get a raving fan client, okay? One of the best ways is just to communicate with them on a weekly basis. And it doesn't take much, okay? One communication a week with your seller to let them know, unless something great happens, you get an offer, that's different. But I'm saying, let's say you list it, you don't get any offers that week, but you should hit them up on that Friday and say, hey, just want to give you an update on what's been going on to the week. The open house last weekend went great. Had this many people, had this many follow-up calls, and I had 2 showings on Thursday. No offers yet, but I like the activity that we're getting. Something like that. Even if nothing's happening, hey, this week, I didn't get any showings this week. It's been a little bit slower, this and that, but we're going to try a couple new things to make sure that we get the attention out there. And then, if that stays that way, we can talk about, potentially lowering the price. But right now, let's just, stay where we are and let's feel it out. Whatever it is, whatever the update is, just do it once a week, because what happens is they think you're not doing anything. Like, if you don't communicate with them at all, even if you could be busting your butt, you could be following up with people, but they don't know that. You got to let them know that by just simply sending them a quick email. I like to send them a bomb. If you guys are using bomb or a video email, it's just so much more personal. And I just send them a little video, and then they feel happy. They feel like things are happening and they know what's going on. So let's talk about power pricing. So we talked about that before. I told you power pricing is pricing for competition. Okay, so I like to show them what I do to find the right price for them, that I'm not just kind of pulling a price out of the air, that I'm not just comparing a few sales in the neighborhood. I'm looking at a lot of things. Okay, so here are some of the things that you're going to be looking at. And if you watch my comp video, you'll learn a lot of this. And I do comp classes, usually, actually, I just did one recently, but I do them almost every month or every other month anyway. But here are the things that you need to know. Okay. Market trends, those are the things that I'm looking for, Mrs. Seller, to price your property. Market trends in your neighborhood, in the area. So what's happening in the area? What are the market trends? Did they just build a new neighborhood next to you, and a lot of people are buying there, and not a lot of people buying here? Whatever the case may be, I'm looking at all of that. Competition, who or what else is on the market right now? I just talked about new construction, but it could be who else is in the market in your neighborhood. So if there's 5 other houses for sale in your neighborhood, or 10 other houses, you're competing against those houses, right? So I'm looking at the competition and what's happening with them, right? So if there's 5 houses currently on the market, are they selling? How long they've been on the market? Where are they priced at? Interior comparisons. I'm going to be comparing homes that sold, and I'm going to be looking at their interior and then looking at yours and seeing how they compare, and I'm making adjustments based on that, because people will make adjustments. The buyers will make adjustments based on that. I'm looking at upgrades. Is yours more upgraded? Should yours be priced a little bit higher because this one needs updating, or is it vice versa, right? So the age of the home. The age of the home is also super important, right? So if I'm, usually if it's a planned neighborhood, most of the homes are the same age, but sometimes in these different areas with no HOAs, sometimes you can get really big differences in age of the home. Okay. Lot size comparisons. Obviously, if you're in a planned neighborhood, most of the lots are the same size. That's an easy comparison, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes you got a home that's for sale, that's 5 acres, and you're trying to find comparables for 5 acres, and it's tough, right? So, you'll be looking at different land comparisons, how much, acreage they have versus the home you have. New replacements. So new AC and new roof are big deals, right? You always want to ask the seller what the age of the roof and AC is, because, those are some big expenditures that need to happen if they're old or if they're falling apart, right? So some other homes, if another home sold in the neighborhood and they're like, I want to price it there, but that home had a new roof, new AC, new plumbing, whatever, you got to say, hey, look, they just spent a ton of money to upgrade that home. You can get that price for that home, but you're going to have to do those same things. So if you have $20,000, we can do that, and I can absolutely get you the price that they got. But if not, let's make an adjustment for it and sell it at the right price that'll get us the most competition. Special circumstances of the sale. Is there was something weird with the sale? I'm looking at the fact that some people sell in a distressed situation. In other words, they had to sell quickly. They're in foreclosure, or it was a short sale, whatever the case may be. So I'm looking at different situations just to make sure that we're comparing your property to the right situations. Okay. Sold price per square foot. That's actually one of the ways that I base. It's a way for me to calculate apples to apples what your property could be worth versus another size property. So if I can go down to the sold price per square foot, I use that not as a final definitive number, because this is actually part art and part science, right? There's not one magical right answer. I'm looking at all of these clues, just like this detective here on the right. I'm looking at all of these clues to come up with a great picture of what it will take to sell your home for top dollar. And so I make adjustments based on that. And sold price per square foot, what it allows me to do is look at a property of a different size and then compare that to your size and kind of get a number in my head, and I work those things out and make adjustments accordingly. Home size variations are important. I make sure I compare home the right size. You can't compare 1,000 square foot home to a 3,000 home. They're two different, right? So you got to keep those within a range. I always show you guys that you should be looking at homes that are about 20% below or 20% above your square footage range. So if your home's 1,000 square feet, you need to be looking at stuff that is from 800 to 1,200 square feet, right? And you start getting bigger, the price per square foot starts getting adjusted too much simply because of the size of the property, and you don't want that. And by the way, an appraiser, the other reason you don't want to overprice this is because the appraiser is going to do the same things I'm doing right now, which means that if you overprice a property, even if you were by chance to get somebody to overpay you, an appraisal is going to knock it down, and you're going to have a problem again, and you could lose a deal because of that. Okay. And amenities, does it have a pool? Does it not have a pool? Just remember, guys, unless you're in a really high-end neighborhood, pools don't add as much as you think. Somebody's like, well, mine has a pool, it should be $20,000 more. I'm like, no, it ain't. Your neighborhood's like a $250,000 neighborhood. Half the people have pools, half people don't. Maybe that's $5,000 to your price, but it's not as big a deal as you think. Sometimes add 10,000 to the price. But it's not as much as people think. And sometimes people don't want pools, by the way. Some people don't want to take care of pools. Some people have kids, are afraid the kids fall in the pool. So, it's not as big a deal. It's kind of a choice and a preference. Then days on market. I look at days on market. How long did it take for the sold properties to sell? And what about the properties that are on the market now that aren't selling? How long have they been on the market? I'm analyzing all of that to come up with what I think the right price is. So in other words, if there's a property that's active in the neighborhood right now for sale, and it's almost identical to yours, right? And it's on the market for $350, and your seller's like, oh, I want to market mine at $350 because or even higher, $355. I think mine's even better than them. I'm like, yeah, but that home's almost identical to you, and it's been on the market for 125 days. It's at $350 and it's still not selling. That's not a power price, right? So you got to dig into that a little bit more to figure out why it's taking so long to sell. There might be some other clues there, but anyway, you're going to have to tell them that you're going to have to make an adjustment for that, right? Because that home's sitting on the market. You don't want to price it with something that's not selling, okay? And list price versus sold price. So these are things that you look for in the listing. So sometimes a property will sit on the market and you'll find out that it was originally listed for a certain price and it sat on the market for a long time. Okay. So, and then you start figuring out why it spent so much on the market and things like that. And then list price versus sold price. So if they listed it here and they sold it down here, these are things that I'm looking at, right? So that person started here. It took them 100 days to get an offer. We don't want that, right? So list price versus sold price are something that I look at. And then something I call neighborhood threshold. So this is kind of a made up term that I came up with. I call it neighborhood threshold. What it means is that no matter what numbers I come up with, right? If I look and I don't see that any property in that neighborhood is sold over a certain price and yours is not better than that high price, or anything like that, there's nothing more spectacular about yours. It's not way bigger, anything like that. Then I look at that, the neighborhood told that, yeah, I could probably justify a price of $375, but nobody's bought a property over $345 in your neighborhood in the last months. So even though I could justify it, I don't think that's the right price. It's way over the neighborhood threshold. And by the way, if you price it up here, at $375, there's this new construction neighborhood over here where you can buy brand new homes for $400,000. So, do you think that somebody's going to buy a used home, overpriced for this neighborhood instead of getting a brand new home next door, right? So these are all things we look for. Don't worry about learning all the things that I said. I only went through all this so you guys can get a sense of what I'm looking at. You're going to have over and over again. You're going to have to do a ton of comps to get really, really good at it. But that's cool. This is a good way to get started. And then this is a little section I have in here for you to drop the comparables that you're using to show them. So here's 3 homes in your neighborhood that I looked at. So you can just, rather than give them a whole listing with a bunch of stuff in it, you could give them something more simple. You can just give them the picture of the 3 homes, the addresses, and put a couple points of why you used this home, what adjustments you made versus one home or another. Like I wrote here, this home was overpriced at $300K, took 5 months to sell. This home is not upgraded. Final price ended up being $270. So, little things like that where you can kind of explain your rationale, because some people are never going to get all the details that I just discussed with you. So maybe you just give them some simple stuff so that they can say, okay, you did your research. I think you got a good price here. Okay. And so what is your power price? I always like to ask them. So after discussing all these different things, out of curiosity, what do you think is a good price for your home? I'm always interested to see, what they think. It might be right on line with yours. It could be over, it could be under. And, just, tell them you're going to tell them what you think. Because sometimes they're like, well, aren't you supposed to tell me? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to tell you. But I just kind of get a sense of what you're thinking about and get that number for them. Okay. So at that point, I tell them what I think the power price is. And so I get what they have to say, and I say, okay, look, from everything that I looked at, I think that the sweet spot is this price. I think $399.9, just under the $400,000 mark, is the right price for your home. It'll get us massive attention, and I think that gets the most competition. Okay, and this is where we talk about commissions. So I want to talk to them about commissions. Okay, so some people kind of avoid this. Let's just get to the contract and then talk about that. I'm like, look, let's talk about the money. And remember, I don't cost you money, I make you money. Okay, so this is the difference of having a good agent or a bad agent. Okay, so here's what I wrote here: our investment together. Okay, so your agent, I agree to invest my time, effort, marketing dollars, and it's almost like a contract, right? I agree to invest my time, effort, marketing dollars, and expertise to acquire a buyer for this home at the best price with the best protection at no upfront cost to you. My investments give me the opportunity to earn a commission if and only if my investment leads to a successful and profitable closing for you. What does that mean? I don't get paid unless I have success. Okay, I don't get paid unless I have success. So I'm here to market this property, and I agree to invest my time, effort, marketing dollars, expertise in advance at no upfront cost to you. Okay, and if I have success, I get paid a commission. So here's their agreement. I agree that if and only if my agent leads me to the successful sale of my home, that I will invest 3% for the efforts of the listing agent and 3% for the efforts of the buyer's agent. This investment will only be paid out of the proceeds of the sale at the time of closing. It's not coming out of their pocket. This comes at the sale. They have success. So technically, if I give you everything you want, you get to keep 94% and I get 6. Actually, I usually get 3, right? It's 3 to the buyer's agent, 3 to me. Only if I double-ended, I get 6, right? But that's not a bad deal, especially if you got a great agent like yourselves, right? So this is just a little, fun thing that I did here. I did like a success bonus thing if you want to include something cool like this. So if I get a contract in this property in 30 days or less, I'll give you $500 towards your closing costs, or $500 off your commissions or whatever you want to do. So just a little bonus. Hey, look, if you sell it quick, why not? $500. If the commission's $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, this is a good success bonus if you want to do something like that and do something cool for the seller. You don't have to do it, just something I put in here, and then obviously your contact information. So guys, that's it. This is an overview of what you need to know. I told you, after you watch this video, you know everything you need to know to go do a listing presentation. Watch my comp video on jointdp.com/videos to get prepared for your listing presentation. Where I show this video, I have a link to this presentation I just showed you, to this template. I'll put it on the jointdp.com site so that you guys have access to it as well. But you're ready to go, guys. I hope this helps, and talk to you guys soon.